Welcome to Khadija Talimwali YouTube channel.
All right, let's dive right into this explainer and explore what might just be the ultimate cure for the modern epidemic of burnout. Today, we're tackling this massive, honestly kind of silent issue that's just draining our collective energy, ruining our focus, and leaving so many of us feeling completely depleted. But hey, we aren't just going to diagnose the problem here. We're going to unpack a really powerful, transformative philosophy to actually solve it. It is time to take our time back.
Let's kick things off by asking ourselves a pretty tough question. Are you truly productive or are you just busy? I ask this because, well, society has this sneaky way of tricking us into wearing busyness as some sort of badge of honor, right? We're constantly running around, checking off endless boxes on our to-do lists, answering notifications at all hours, but when the day is done, do you actually feel like you've moved the needle on the things that truly matter, or are you, just spinning your wheels?
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to start with the reality of burnout, then define what essentialism actually is, move into the art of saying no, figure out how to escape the commitment trap, and wrap up with essentialist storytelling. Section 1. The reality of burnout. Let's just look at the stark reality of this problem. Keep in mind that a staggering 48% of workers globally are currently struggling with this. According to recent data from the Boston Consulting Group, this is hitting workers everywhere. The US, the UK, India, you name it. This isn't just some fringe issue. It is a global crisis affecting literally half the workforce. We're expected to be on 24/7, but humans, we just aren't wired to function that way.
And burnout, it isn't just being tired. It is this deep, bone-level exhaustion that brings along emotional numbness and behavioral changes, like suddenly avoiding your friends. If you feel like your brain is just always empty, no matter how much sleep you get, you might be burning out. It usually starts physically, relying way too much on caffeine, dealing with constant muscle tension. Then it bleeds into your emotions. You lose motivation and start looking at your responsibilities with deep cynicism. And eventually, it alters your behavior, making you withdraw from loved ones or chronically procrastinate.
To brilliantly illustrate this trap of busyness, check out this story from author Greg McKeown. His boss literally told him Friday would be a very bad day to have the baby. And because of that pressure, Greg actually left the hospital right after his daughter's birth just to attend a meaningless client meeting. Can you even imagine? His wife had just delivered their beautiful baby girl, and instead of staying by her side, he went to a meeting where, frankly, he was completely dazed and brought zero value. Looking back, he realized it was a total fool's bargain. He learned the hard way that if you don't prioritize your own life, someone else will gladly prioritize it for you.
Which brings us to Section 2. What is essentialism? That painful wake-up call for Greg leads perfectly into our antidote. Essentialism is basically a method for fighting this completely false idea that we can somehow have it all if we just try to do it all.
The term actually has its roots in traditional American education. Back then, educational essentialism was all about focusing entirely on fundamental, mandatory subjects, like reading and writing, driven by strict teacher authority. The whole idea was that students shouldn't be overwhelmed with every possible elective or distraction out there. Instead, they needed rigorous, strict mental discipline focused on the absolute core foundations necessary for success.
Now, what's really interesting is how Greg McKeown took that strict educational focus and adapted it into a modern lifestyle philosophy. Lifestyle essentialism is the disciplined pursuit of less. It's about doing fewer things, but doing them exceptionally well. Listen, this is not about some shiny new time management hack or trying to cram even more tasks into a 24-hour day. It's literally the exact opposite. It's about consciously carving out time to create space, figuring out the vital few things that actually matter, and then aggressively trimming away the trivial many.
Because here's the thing. Hard work is only the key to success if it's pointed in the right direction. Otherwise, you're just exhausting yourself without actually getting anywhere. Imagine a non-essentialist pouring all their energy into walking 1 kilometer north, 1 south, 1 east, and 1 west. Sure, they've walked 4 kilometers, but they're standing exactly where they started. The essentialist takes that exact same amount of energy, but walks 4 kilometers straight toward their most important goal. It's the same effort, but a massively different output.
Moving on to Section 3, the art of saying no. To actually walk in that one focused direction, we have to master the core tool of the essentialist, which is saying no. And let's be honest, this is often the hardest part, because we are socially conditioned to be people pleasers. We're terrified that saying no is going to damage our relationships or make us look unhelpful.
But management expert Peter Drucker hit the nail on the head when he said, "People are effective because they say no."
Every single time you say yes to a non-essential task, you are unknowingly saying no to your most important priorities. Think about the 80-20 rule. 20% of our efforts generally yield 80% of our results. So when a friend asks you to go to a movie you really don't want to see and you say yes just to be polite, you're simultaneously saying no to resting, no to your family, or no to a project that actually fulfills you.
So how do we fix this? You can actually say no gracefully by using a few simple tactics. First is the artificial delay. Just saying, let me check my calendar. That creates a buffer so you don't default to a people-pleasing yes in the heat of the moment. Second is the email bounce back. Use automated replies to ruthlessly protect your prime working hours for deep focus. And third, the hell yes filter. This one is a total game changer. If an opportunity doesn't make you immediately think, hell yes, then it's a definitive no. Applying that filter just frees your mind to focus on delivering maximum value exactly where it counts.
Okay, Section 4. Escaping the commitment trap. Sometimes, despite our absolute best intentions, we've already said yes to the wrong things. It happens. Even the best of us fall into the trap of making these casual little commitments that somehow balloon into massive time sinks.
A huge reason for this is the sunk cost bias. This is when you continue a losing course of action simply because of a prior investment of time or money. Think of it like buying a ticket to a terribly boring movie, but forcing yourself to sit through the whole 2 hours just because you already paid for it. We do this in our careers and personal lives all the time. We stick with a failing project or a totally draining commitment because we don't want to feel like we've wasted the effort we've already put in. But the Essentialist knows that past investment is gone. Poof! They only care about not wasting the future.
And that brings us to the endowment effect. We have this weird tendency to fiercely protect things just because they're ours. To beat this bias, try this trick. Pretend you don't actually own the item or haven't made the commitment yet. And ask yourself how much you'd sacrifice to obtain it today. Instead of asking, oh, how will I feel if I miss out on this? Ask yourself, if I didn't already have this opportunity, what would I be willing to do to get it? If the answer is nothing, well, you need to cut your losses and uncommit.
Finally, Section 5, Essentialist Storytelling. Applying this whole less is more philosophy actually extends to how we communicate and tell stories without putting our audience asleep. Whether you're in a stuffy corporate boardroom or making content online, dumping a million data points or irrelevant details on people is the exact opposite of essentialism. To keep your communication essential, you want to use the 3A rule: authenticity, add a twist, and aim it right. Authenticity means you actually have an emotional connection to what you're saying. If you try to fake a story, it just falls flat. Adding a twist, that's like a comedian holding back the punchline. It's the oxygen of the story that keeps people hooked. And aiming it right just means knowing your audience. I mean, you wouldn't pitch a grueling mountain climbing expedition to friends who absolutely hate the outdoors, right? A perfect example of this is Karen. She could have just told her friends a really boring fact like, hey guys, I lost weight. Instead, she told them about this disastrous morning, spilling coffee everywhere, the panic of ruining her outfit right before a huge meeting, and frantically running to a store to buy a new shirt. She built all this suspense, holding back the realization until the very end. The shirt size she grabbed in a panic was way too big. That's the twist. She had dropped a whole dress size. That essential little twist turned a totally boring update into a captivating story that spread like wildfire. So, looking at the big picture, the crucial takeaway here is that essentialism is basically like organizing a closet. It is a lifelong routine, not a one-time cleanout. You can completely clear out your closet today, but over the next few months, you'll inevitably buy a new shirt here, a new pair of shoes there, and boom, soon enough, it's cluttered again. Life is exactly the same way. You need routines. You literally have to schedule time to step back, reflect, get proper sleep, and continuously recenter your focus on your vital few priorities to protect your mind from the clutter of life. Look, the modern world is going to keep throwing noise, distractions, and meaningless tasks your way. That's a given. It is entirely up to you to build those boundaries, use that hell yes filter, and step into the disciplined pursuit of less. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. If you don't prioritize your life, who will? Will you take control of your essential path today, or let someone else dictate your journey?
Thank you for watching Khadija Talimwali YouTube channel.